Has it ever crossed your mind why a majority of individuals don't experience extended lifespans past the age of 80? It's due to these 4 factors. Attaining the age of 80 is a significant achievement, yet maintaining vitality beyond that point requires more than mere fortune. It demands insight. This is because 4 subtle yet potent influences operate against our physical well-being as we grow older. The general populace seldom discusses these until intervention is no longer timely. Furthermore, a great number fail to grasp the extent to which these unseen problems are impacting their stamina, cognitive function, and general wellness before the harm has taken root. In this presentation, we intend to reveal the 4 genuine causes behind the difficulties most encounter in living well beyond 80. These are not merely speculative ideas, they are supported by many years of medical investigation and direct observation. Once you grasp these concepts, you will recognize that the goal isn't to pursue eternal life. Instead, it's about safeguarding your vigor, your autonomy, and your tranquility for the maximum possible duration. Remain with us until the conclusion, as the 4th factor could be unexpected and potentially the most crucial of them all. Let us commence. Factor number 1. Inconspicuous inflammation that hastens the aging process. A primary danger to well-being beyond 80 does not originate externally. It commences subtly from the inside. Physicians frequently refer to this as inflammaging. This term describes the persistent, low-level inflammation that gradually harms cells, bodily tissues, and vital organs, initially without presenting noticeable signs. Over an extended period, it degrades the body systemically. This particular type of inflammation differs from the noticeable puffiness following an injury like a sprain or laceration. It is an internal condition. It accumulates over many years due to chronic stress, consumption of processed meals, inadequate sleep, insufficient physical activity, and exposure to environmental pollutants. And though it might not initially manifest as discomfort, its impact is comprehensive, affecting your cardiovascular system, your cognitive functions, your articulations, and even your body's defense mechanisms. Consider the case of George, aged 82. He was a non-smoker and abstained from alcohol. He engaged in daily walks. Nevertheless, he frequently experienced fatigue, rigidity, and mental cloudiness, despite his laboratory tests appearing unremarkable. It was only upon consulting a specialist that elevated inflammatory indicators were detected within his system. There was no significant illness, merely a subtle inflammation that had been developing covertly for an extended duration. The capacity of the body to manage inflammation diminishes as one gets older. Consequently, factors that might have been disregarded in one's 50s or 60s, such as consuming processed treats, extended durations of inactivity, or insufficient rest, begin to exert a more substantial impact after reaching 80. Inflammation gradually erodes one's fortitude. It elevates the likelihood of developing dementia, cardiovascular conditions, and physical vulnerability. And the majority of individuals are unaware that this is occurring. However, there is positive news. Several of the most potent measures against inflammation are straightforward and cost nothing. Consuming a greater quantity of unprocessed foods, engaging in daily ambulation. None of this yields immediate results, but each action contributes to diminishing the inflammatory state. And with reduced inflammation, your system stands a greater prospect of remaining robust well past the age of 80. Factor number 2. Muscular atrophy resulting in debility and tumbles. Subsequent to reaching 60 years of age, the human body inherently starts to shed muscle mass annually, and past 80, this deterioration accelerates. This progressive decline in strength is known as sarcopenia. Most individuals do not perceive it immediately. It does not commence with substantial alterations. Rather, it begins with minor difficulties, experiencing trouble opening containers, rising from a seated position with less agility, or sidestepping staircases because they seem slightly more demanding. The issue is that muscle tissue serves purposes beyond mere physical power. It safeguards equilibrium. It provides support to joints. It assists in managing blood glucose levels and metabolic processes. And as muscle mass diminishes, the probability of experiencing falls, Sustaining fractures and forfeiting autonomy escalates rapidly. Consider Frank, at 84 years of age. He possessed a keen mind, a positive disposition, and continued to reside independently. However, one afternoon, he stumbled over a floor rug and fractured his hip. He had consistently viewed himself as sure-footed, but following the incident, he comprehended the significant amount of strength he had forfeited in the preceding few years, strength he mistakenly believed he still retained. The peril of muscle deterioration after 80 lies in its swift and comprehensive impact. A single fall can result in prolonged bed confinement, and extended periods of bed rest culminate in further enfeeblement. Subsequently, the necessity for a walking aid arises, accompanied by the forfeiture of personal liberty and the gradual contraction of a formerly dynamic existence. Yet, the decline of muscle mass is not unavoidable. Its progression can be decelerated and, in numerous instances, counteracted. Regular ambulation is beneficial. Employing light free weights or resistance equipment several times weekly, ensuring adequate protein intake, and performing gentle stretches to maintain flexibility are all helpful. These minor endeavors accumulate, particularly with consistent application. The objective is never to attain the physique of a professional bodybuilder. It is about preserving stability, agility, and sufficient strength to continue engaging in activities of greatest personal significance. Whether this involves tending to a garden, purchasing groceries, or merely rising from bed securely each day, muscle serves as your body's unseen guardian. And beyond the age of 80, it could very well be the singular element that enables you to live not merely for a greater duration, but with a higher quality of life. If you are continuing to view this presentation and deem these observations to be of worth, kindly post the numeral 2 in the comments section beneath to signify your presence. Moreover, if you have not yet become a subscriber, I suggest you do so and activate the notification bell to ensure you receive all future videos. Your encouragement assists us in persisting with the production of quality material designed to enlighten and motivate you. Now let us proceed. Factor number 3, inadequate sleep that debilitates the physical and mental faculties. Patterns of sleep alter as we mature, though not invariably in a positive manner. Numerous senior individuals encounter difficulties with initiating sleep, maintaining sleep, or achieving profound, rejuvenating repose. And beyond the age of 80, the consequences of insufficient sleep start to manifest more distinctly in one's physique, cognitive function, and daily activities. Initially, you may observe this through minor indications, experiencing greater daytime fatigue, more frequent lapses in memory regarding simple matters, or becoming more easily agitated. However, underlying these manifestations is a more profound issue. During slumber, the body undertakes self-repair. The brain eliminates metabolic byproducts. The immune system undergoes a reset, and when sleep becomes superficial or interrupted, these vital restorative mechanisms are impeded. Let us consider Alice, aged 86. She paid little heed to awakening 3 or 4 instances each night, simply attributing it to a normal aspect of her age. However, as time passed, she observed a decline in her memory. Her energy levels diminished. She became more susceptible to common illnesses. Her physician clarified that sleep was not merely for recuperation. It was crucial for her cognitive well-being and the robustness of her immune defenses. Upon addressing and enhancing her sleep routines, her mental lucidity and endurance gradually improved. A large number of individuals presume they must simply accept substandard sleep beyond a particular point in life. Yet, this is not wholly accurate. There exist uncomplicated methods for its enhancement: maintaining a regular sleep schedule, restricting intake of caffeine and alcoholic beverages, exposing oneself to natural daylight upon waking, and establishing a cool, unlit, tranquil sleeping environment. Even modest physical activity during daylight hours can contribute to more profound sleep during the night. Past the age of 80, quality sleep assumes an importance equivalent to nutritious diet or secure physical activity. It influences the sharpness of your thoughts, the stability of your gait, the resilience of your immune system, and the amount of vitality you possess to appreciate the existence you have cultivated. The objective is not extended sleep duration, but rather improved sleep quality. And prioritizing this could be among the most astute actions you can undertake for sustained wellness. Factor number 4, solitude and the forfeiture of everyday meaning. A subtle peril exists that impacts a greater number of individuals beyond 80 than is commonly acknowledged. This is not a pathogen or an ailment, it is the state of loneliness. And its detrimental effects are not confined to emotional distress. It has physical repercussions on the body. Research indicates that social detachment and a deficiency in daily objectives can curtail lifespan to a greater extent than certain long-term illnesses. As individuals advance in age, their sphere of interaction frequently contracts. Companions depart, offspring relocate to distant places, and bodily constraints impede their ability to venture out. Consequently, gradually and unintentionally, numerous older adults find themselves increasingly isolated, not merely in a physical sense, but also in terms of emotional connection. Consider Bill, at 88 years of age. His spouse died 5 years prior. His grown offspring reside in different regions. He engages in television viewing, prepares his own sustenance, and maintains an orderly environment. However, he mentions that entire days sometimes elapse without him conversing with anyone. And the element he laments most profoundly is not the absence of sound or commotion. It is the sensation of being valued, the feeling that someone anticipates his presence, that his existence holds significance. The human spirit is inherently designed for interpersonal bonds, and past 80, as societal functions diminish, such as those related to career, family care, or community participation, what many individuals forfeit is not solely social engagement, but also a sense of self. That subdued understanding of one's reason for rising each day can become burdensome. And in due course, this impacts immunological function, neurochemical balance, and the motivation to remain engaged. Yet, a sense of purpose need not be monumental. It can derive from activities like nurturing flora, composing messages to cherished individuals, initiating a daily telephone conversation, providing sustenance for avian life, or assisting a fellow resident. The most modest actions can instill a sense of routine, significance, and contentment. And extending oneself, despite any initial discomfort, can frequently illuminate the experience for all involved. Being alone is distinct from feeling lonely, and discovering tranquility in silence is a form of resilience. However, when an individual perceives themselves as unnoticed or superfluous, the physical self reacts. Therefore, if you are beyond 80, or if you are acquainted with someone in that age group, pose this straightforward inquiry. What provides you with a sense of purpose at this moment? And how can you safeguard that purpose as if it were a therapeutic remedy? Because in numerous respects, it truly is. If you are still engaged with this presentation and perceive these understandings as beneficial, please indicate this by commenting with the numeral 4 below, so I am aware of your continued attention. Additionally, should you not be a current subscriber, I would advise you to subscribe and enable notifications by clicking the bell, thereby ensuring you don't overlook any future content. Your backing enables us to persist in developing valuable material intended to inform and uplift you. Now let us continue. Concluding remarks. Should you have accompanied us to this juncture, I encourage you to pause for a period of contemplation, not with apprehension, but with lucidity. Experiencing life past the age of 80 is a privilege. However, the reality remains that numerous individuals do not reach this stage in optimal condition. This is not attributable to a lack of concern on their part, but rather to an unawareness of the factors subtly undermining their well-being. Inflammation, sarcopenia, deficient sleep, and social detachment can gradually encroach, and by the moment their full impact is evident, the detriment has already commenced. Nevertheless, insight equates to empowerment, and the objective of this presentation is not to induce anxiety. It is to equip you, to serve as a reminder that minor, consistent adjustments continue to yield significant results. The decisions you implement this week, this current month, and throughout this year possess the capacity to influence your physical capabilities, cognitive processes, and emotional state during your 80s and in subsequent years. Therefore, Which aspect resonated with you most profoundly? Was it the insidious nature of inflammation's onset, or the precariousness of physical vigor in the absence of activity? Perhaps it was the reaffirmation that slumber transcends mere repose, and that maintaining emotional bonds holds a significance comparable to any medicinal treatment. Irrespective of what it was, do not permit it to remain merely data. Allow it to serve as a pivotal moment, a resolve to persistently support your physical health, your mental acuity, and your sense of direction. Advancing in age is not synonymous with decline. It is about concentrating one's efforts. It involves identifying what is of utmost importance, safeguarding it, and relinquishing the superfluous. You have merited the privilege of navigating this phase of existence with sagacity and fortitude. Do not accept anything inferior. My gratitude extends to you for being with us on this occasion. We are eager to receive your feedback. Please post a comment below, sharing one piece of knowledge you acquired today and your intentions for applying it in your own life. Your perspectives are highly valued by us, so I encourage you to express them. Reviewing your contributions provides us with substantial motivation and reinforcement. If this presentation was to your liking and you deemed it beneficial, I ask that you indicate this with a like, become a subscriber, and distribute it to others. Your assistance enables us to carry on generating quality material to enlighten and motivate. I appreciate your viewership and anticipate your presence in our subsequent video.